closer to about a half hour before showtime instead of 5 or 10 minutes, because if anything is going to crash, or there's a network error, or the dog needs to go to the bathroom, it's always going to be right before or right at showtime. So I just need to check one thing. Taz, if you're ready, I'll throw you up and you can say hi to everybody too. Point.
I'm good.
There he is. Okay. I'll be right in a minute, folks.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Not sure if anybody's here yet, but hey.
Yeah, we have the new chat commands up on the top too. That's just a preliminary. I'm kind of seeing whether or not I'm going to like them up there or not.
Chat commands up top. Oh, okay. Now I see it. I had one of those rough days. I'm not seeing much of anything. Getting ready to throw printers.
Yeah, I just gotta. I need to get that other laptop in here at the command center here, so I don't have to go running into the other part of the office to check the WeChat stuff.
But you had a like an iPad.
I do, but that is reserved exclusively for the stream interface running.
My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, technically, I've got one or two other tablets floating around here too, but yeah.
We have the iPad Mini. I still haven't got that thing to work with my setup, so I just got aggravated. I couldn't get it connect to the network for some reason. So I'm like, okay.
Okay, anyways, give me just about a minute, and I gotta check the WeChat, see if I can get Tracy or somebody else to pop in for a little while, and check Twitch, check YouTube. Anyways, 1 minute.
What's up, Skin? How are you? We're just kind of getting set up. Today's been a field of errors. On all fronts. Yeah, those visor stacks, I'm not thrilled with them because it seems like it's more work to try and get them to print right, and then you got to break them apart and clean them off. Whereas I could run 4 on a bed, at least on the artillery, I can run 4 of them, get them done fast, clean them off, go right to the next one, and it seems to go faster. You got it working well, huh? Like I said, I just get irritated with it. I'm like, I'm done. I tried my own way of doing it, and it just nope. So I've been doing like the 2 on the enders, and then I was doing 4 on the artilleries when they're open. That was a while ago. Oops. I gotta answer people's questions sometimes. I forget. Who's on that not being able to switch prints? What do you mean by switching prints? Yes, Octoprint, I know. The ones we're doing now only fit 3 on a bed. Whoa. Which ones are you doing? You doing like the don't mind me. It's been a really long day, so it's not that I'm not processing right now properly. Okay, the Swedish ones. See, I'm not doing those, so I'm doing the other ones with the 3-hole punch. They're a lot simpler. I mean, and they take up less space, thankfully. And it's the only ones that are approved for our area, so. Yeah, but my only problem is if something goes wrong with a double stack, now you got 9 hours invested, and it's like, okay, now what? If it fails, it's like, darn it. Actually, a lot more severe when I'm saying stuff, but you get the idea. More than darn it out of my mouth, but right. It's just it seems like Murphy's law when it comes to those failures. I like the fact that I have the bottom ones. I know on the first level they're done really quick. I think it's like 2 hours tops, and I just throw them off the plate and hit print again and roll. But as long as it's working for you, that's all that matters. I mean, that's everyone does stuff a little differently, so nothing wrong with that. Yeah, well, you can't clear and restart when you're at work. Yeah, it's a little tough when you're not there. So it's always fun. Thankfully, I can hit pause on Octoprint when I catch that because I don't run the runout sensors on mine. And I still haven't gotten used to my glasses. See if this loads without crashing everything. Makes me really bright. Okay. Ah, okay. We usually do it on the Discord. Not sure if you get the link to that scan. If you've been on Discord yet. Let me find the invite really quick. And I'll post a link. There you go. You can just climb on there and you can show off your stuff, and then we can actually talk about it. And when Fen comes back, we could post it up in the center cam and look at things too. Right. Yeah, I seen it. You want me to post that in artillery help? User images help then. Okay, let's see. I got it. I got it. Got it. Upload. There you go. I mean, I have similar. Mine have little nubs on them, so it grabs it better. Did you want that file? Oh, because I have a set of them that are blank and don't have nothing on them that are like that. But in fact, a set just finished. Give me 1 second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Gotta unhook. That black is so hard to see on the printer. That printer finished too. That's why Octoprint was yelling at me. You watching, Fun? I got these guys. They're similar. They have the extra backing on them so they don't break off when they're wearing them, because these thin ones, the wife was saying that the girls at work were snapping them on the other ones that were just flat. So this is a redesign. It wasn't meant to be two colored. It was by accident, but I ran out of filament. But if you want that file, it's not a problem. I got that one. Okay. Yeah, it's not really normal for you to have a difference in your Z's on the lead screws. They usually stay pretty centered unless they have a slight bend. They'll bounce back and forth, but they shouldn't be like, one shouldn't be leaning against the bearing and the other one not, kind of thing. And they should be pretty well centered. What you can do is print up those blocks. They're actually for a CR10. You put the blocks in, and then you adjust the Z rods by in the couplers, and then turn them so they sit right in the couplers.
Sorry, folks, getting a little sexy here. It's like really warm in my offices right now. You just got to deal with it. At least I'm not going to totally disrobe.
It's a PG-13 thing, bro. I don't know.
No. I've seen some pretty wild stuff going on Twitch and YouTube, actually. If you make the mistake of do not search on YouTube for Brazilian wax. Hmm.
Why not?
Well, earlier today I posted a thing. Somebody sent me a thing about Facebook and your phones.
Yeah, I saw that.
With the privacy thing, and just for the heck of it, I mean, I don't care about that. I don't have anything to hide on any of my systems for the most part, and uh, I just checked it on my phone, and yeah, that stuff was there, and that explains why something, just it's really weird having just the only situation where I've discussed, say something like, oh, uh, vintage Hot Wheel cars. Okay,
Okay.
the only place I'd discuss something like that would be, say, exclusively on Facebook Messenger. Well, lo and behold, like within an hour on
You're getting ads.
Facebook on my phone, I'd get an ad from Wish or
Hi,
some
Tracy.
some place like that. Hey Tracy, wagga wagga wagga. I'd get an ad for Wish with vintage Hot Wheels. Yeah, Tracy, that's Taz has got that STL handy right there. I don't have any of the COVID-19 stuff on any of my systems here.
If you want those, I'm more than happy to share it. It's not a problem. I mean, it was shared out to the community, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up an image too of the
I mean,
one.
we can put the files on here, right?
Yeah, well, maybe.
I can
Oh,
give it a
I
shot.
don't think you can put the file. I don't think you can put the files directly on the stream, but I think you can.
No, I meant like on our Discord.
Our Discord, you can try. If not, I'll see if there's a way to do it.
Well, let me try and find it.
There we go.
Because I posted asking for the one you guys were specifically looking for, but like I
Yeah,
said, I know I
that,
have
that
a version of it.
yeah, that's what I've got up right now.
Let me see if I can find it because it's buried in all my other files as usual. Because I'm so organized. I used to be. There was a time. It was a long time ago, but it was the one. There was a time. Where did it go?
Yeah, for everybody watching, that's one of the files that artillery's looking for right now, or something else. Like Taz had mentioned, his wife has been in the field using these things already, and she found some problems with maybe some of those snapping off. It might be the PLA or the material that people are printing them out of.
And what she was saying was they weren't grabbing well. So this one actually has like little nubs on it,
Right,
and it's
right,
got a little thick bar across. So it actually grabs the mask for them, and then obviously the different sizes, but that way it gets up underneath and doesn't pull out when they're moving around. But I
right.
posted it up on our Discord if you want to grab those files. More than happy. Anything to help out.
Yeah, Scandrew, I got your image up there. Now you're printing multiples at one time.
Yeah. I had a problem with that, and I just because it was like if one goes bad, you've got a bunch that are screwed up. Then it's like we were talking about that when you were roaming around trying to get stuff lined up. So
Right, right. Hey Tracy, you're on Twitch. Follow the channel. Follow the channel, darling.
but yeah, I got like I said, I put it on Discord, so you just snatch it right off of there. I don't know unless Tracy wants me to send it in through Messenger. I could send it that way too, Trace. if that would be helpful. I think it'll take it.
What, Scanjo, what settings were you using? That seems like an awful long time for just printing up 9 of those things.
Those are thicker. Those are a weird file.
Yeah.
The way they infill, they take an awful lot of time to print.
Right. Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if that's his problem, but that's why one of the places that we were dealing with didn't approve those because of how long it took to get them printed.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
went with a basic one, and it also went with a 3 punch, so they wouldn't have to deal with trying to use an extra punch. They could use 3 pull punches and throw them on.
Okay, 3 days to figure out how to print it that way. Gotcha. 11 and a half. That's more reasonable because I was going to say
The
the
Staxi said it was 10 hours.
the lab print, the lab cam that you're looking at right there. All of those are full build plates, and those only took a day.
Where is
There's like literally a crap load of stuff on there, and that's those are all printed at 020.
See if I can grab it. I have to find the darn file again.
Somebody sent me a PM and made a suggestion. They said I had to make the forest out my window out here, have it raining every now and then.
There you go.
I'll animate some little monkeys or something like that whipping past the windows or something.
I sent Tracy the file on Messenger.
Okay.
It actually went through, so.
All right.
If that helps.
Oh.
Let's shorten it up.
Tracy, I need to make you a mod on our Discord so that you can post links. We don't let just regular users coming in post links for security reasons. I think I can do it this way. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Is it if you're wrong, you don't want to be right?
Yeah, only.
No? Okay. I try, man.
I don't know if that, no, it actually didn't give me the, God, I can't remember what that command is. Tracy, you can send the link to Taz. He's got Facebook up, I think.
Yeah.
And then he can repost the link in here, and I'll get you modded on the channel so that you can post links in the future. Sorry about that. Yay. Tracy's being our emoji girl tonight. So Impact, yeah, we'll get a link up for you in just a second. You can contact.
You know what? I'm not under my screen name, so it's Christopher Tobin. If you're looking for the message, Tracy. Sorry, that's my real name.
No, Tracy's a lot hotter than that.
But yeah, it's there when you need it.
So earlier today, in the background, I've had a pretty relaxing day. I've been, aside from just finishing up those prints that you're looking at on the screen right there, um, the trials and tribulations of working with a Hemera. Taz has been playing with the Hemera on a customer computer all day, and uh, probably not that big of a deal if it was like going to be something that was like new and fresh out of the box, but when we get a hold of something that someone has done all sorts of unknown things to the printers, that's always what makes it a challenge. Oh, Impact, you had kind of the same uh, experience with the Hemera?
I would not put one on my printer. I don't see nothing wrong with the stock hot end. I really don't.
I had a lot of hope for them, and like I said, I fell into uh, the range right at release when they had all the cracked gears, and I sent them back, and I just said, screw it. When you guys get this stuff straightened out and everything like that, I'll think about it again. And then the C word that is plaguing everybody all over the world happened, and they shut down or cut back on production of them. Yeah, that was something about the design too that I was kind of wondering about. Is if you encountered a scenario where you're going to get clogs or something like that,
You got to dig into that thing.
you got to really disassemble a bunch of stuff just to get to that point.
I mean, it was making a weird grinding noise at first, obviously because I had the stepper backwards, but it was. I mean, if you need to get in there, you're really. It's more complicated than what we already have. It's. It seems like twice as much work.
Yep.
I mean, it's cool looking. Don't get me wrong.
Well, hey Tracy, you can let the rest of the people at Artillery know that one of these days you guys ought to put a camera up in one of the offices there, and I'll get you guys in on the video portion of the live streams and things like that, and you can all hop into the office and say hi to everybody. The other thing that I really wasn't thrilled about when I looked them over too was how thin the housing was, where the screws are,
Right.
and sure as shit, it wasn't too long before I saw people complaining about if they just happened to over tighten the screws, they were cracking the housing that the square nuts go into,
See,
the proprietary square nuts.
put it up. This camera's movable, so.
Oh, vertigo, man, vertigo.
Hey, I can't help it. It's getting stuck.
No, it's actually kind of cool right now.
But yeah, that's the monstrosity that's driven me nuts today. So I finally get that working. Well, now wait a minute, because I have to look at your setup because you got my camera off differently. Sorry, it's hard for me to move it with the stream. But yeah, I mean, he printed out the mount and all of that stuff for it and put it on. I mean, he didn't do a good job of it, but
Yeah, I can see which mount that is too. Yeah.
yeah. And like I said, he put the BL touch on it, which I talked him out of, thankfully. But now this thing is making all kinds of noise with the steppers, and I don't know why. It's really obnoxious. Actually, obviously got it on a chair because I don't have a place to actually work on it.
Oh, did you reset the VREF for the, um, or did you make sure that the VREF was reset? Or
No.
you didn't? Oh, okay. Yeah, you need to reset the VREF for the extruder as well.
Oh yeah, no wait, I did do that. 'Cause I followed the instructions.
Impact, are you talking about the stuff that I released, firmware? Still version 1.19. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever to mess with version 2 of Marlin on these
Well,
machines.
not designed for it anyways. Marlin's designed for the 32-bit board, so
Yeah. And there's, as I've stated in some of the earlier articles and discussions, under certain situations that are more likely than not, you're going to run into problems that are part of Marlin 2 that are going to conflict with what's going on with these 8-bit machines. Part of it is the right at the beginning. There's a higher memory requirement, a higher base memory requirement for Marlin 2, and with all of the features, artillery in the future, no set date for that or anything like that. Eventually, we'll be working with 32-bit boards, but that's not going to do anything for the Sidewinder and the Genius in their present state. When they're ready to release information about specifically how, when, who, where, why, we'll all hear about it. But 32-bit boards, according to their engineer, that is something that they'll be working with in the future. But no, as far as the Marlin goes, I'm not going to call people dumb because they're, myself included, there's times when I like to just goof around with, whatever's new and out on the market and everything like that. But past experience dictates that, especially with Marlin, if you followed Marlin for a number of years, version 2 is in its infant stage, and version 2 through version 4, 2.04, was a train wreck. 2.0 or 2.1 or 2.2 even, I think, introduced a Z motor or a Z stepper problem with dual extruder systems that it took a little while to track down. And for a while there, oh yeah, thanks Taz. Taz got the link up with Lisa's email address for contacting for parts. Yeah, if you just to finish up with the 32-bit board or the Marlin 2 versus the printers as they are right now, the memory overhead, if you enable all the features that we have accessible and available to us that we want in the Marlin 1.19, you're still good for memory. When you try enabling all of that stuff under Marlin 2, you are so close. So if you start goofing with other things like storing mesh, the newer TFT software that's out there introduces additional menu items like sending additional commands through the touch screen to the printers and things like that. All of that creates overhead. And I've already seen even some of my testing here early, and that's another reason why I pulled back with working with Marlin 2 on these, was when I started enabling some of the additional features that Marlin 2 does offer. um, you wouldn't notice anything when you fired the printer up and you began operation and things like that, but I started getting strange print failures. There's times when it seems like communication would be lost. And at its stage or condition that it was at the time, I wasn't paying that close attention to error messages and things like that. A few of them that I got involved memory. So, and that's kind of when I referred back to the guy that created Marlin. And right around that time, that's also when he did an interview with Tom Sandlander about the the Marlin 2 and some of the memory overhead issues and things like that. So that's why I just pulled away from it at that point. Newer isn't always better. You can
It's
actually
not. Come on.
you can actually say in this particular case, Marlin 1.19 is the refined firmware because it's stable, it's solid, it's been working forever for not just these printers, a lot of other printers out there. And you can kind of consider at this point, until Marlin 2 hits maybe the teens, like 210 or somewhere in that range, then I'd maybe consider playing with it solid. On 32-bit boards, the only way we're gonna get anything done as far as research and development goes and things like that is to play with it. But there's no point in playing with it on 8-bit boards. Nope. Hang on just for a second. I will be right back. I'll leave the monkey to watch over you.
Thanks. My favorite. He left me with the monkey. Put the monkey on my back. I'm not happy. You will pay for this. Why is that not starting? Sorry, printer issues. Not the artilleries though. Go figure. It's the enders. Well, by now they're not really enders, so one's actually pretty much a Genius clone because I did that before the Genius came out. Pretty much the same stuff, except I kept it Bowden because I didn't have a chance to play with making that adjustment. I'm not a big fan of the BL Touch. I originally had it on my Ender 3 Pro. I had it hooked up all correctly. Everything was fine. And then one day I was running a long print. It was actually important. It was for a client. And it was I want to say it was like a 15 or 20 hour print that I was running. And right at the end, for some reason, the BL Touch decided to deploy and crashed into the part and caused me all kinds of grief with it burned up a stepper. It just messed a whole bunch of stuff up. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going back to manual leveling. It's much more consistent. I've gotten better at it. I mean, initially, because you get sucked down that rabbit hole when you first start out, between telling you to TL smoothers and you need to have, you know, BL touch and all that stuff, and you really don't. You need to actually do really well with your own leveling first before you go off with any other modifications or what have you. You really need to learn how the machine works for you, because every machine's going to have a little bit of nuance to it, and you got to learn how to play with it. And once you get that and get the leveling down, you don't have to worry. I mean, I can throw stuff on my printer and walk away now. I don't have to worry. I know nothing's going to deploy magically and wreck my part. So that's where I'm at with it. I mean, I see why people like it, but I don't. I mean, I got soured. It's still in my drawer over here behind me. And when I saw what you had to do on our machines, I was like, nah, I'll leave it alone. I mean, the X1 really wasn't made for it, and I like the LED light, even though I did upgrade my boards after a while. I still like the LEDs on it. I still like the ribbon cable on it. I mean, I find it a very solid printer. From what I had, I mean, I pretty much built an entire artillery out of my enders when I got them, because I wanted to get it better to that level. So here you just start off and it's there. All you do is get the nuances figured out, and it works well. I might did that. Sorry guys, I'm trying to fix some stuff in my background. Things aren't clearing out like they're supposed to. Ooh, let the smoke out on the Z. Oof. That's no fun. You let the genie escape, and you're not supposed to let the genie escape ever. You gotta keep him in the bottle. Um, Earl has minis. They look awesome with his profiles. I have yet to get the minis looking that great. I'm sure it's more my fault than it is anything. Me trying to either push the speed or, he's okay with, doing the long prints, and I got to get out of the habit of bumping up the speed on my printer to try and get prints done, because I want them right now, and I have to get out of doing that. But yeah, Earl gets some really beautiful. I mean, everything that's in the center here on the lab cam, he's done. This is all on artilleries. You can see the quality of them. I mean, he does a really good job. You're not going to get, obviously, it's FDM printing, so you're not going to get the exact quality you would get from, say, a resin style printer, but you can get pretty close. From what I've seen, especially with some of his stuff, it's very impressive. I went with the larger objects. I was more into building bigger things. So, I mean, but if you want to get down to lettering and things like that, I mean, you can achieve this kind of detail. Sorry, I don't know where he's got my camera at, so I got to kind of like look and watch. But I think that's pretty damn good detail for what we got in an FDM printer. I did a smaller one too, and it's still so I mean the detail is there. That's about as close as I get with minis.
How do minis look on this printer?
I told him it was your question. I did answer some of it, but
They look
you have
awesome.
your mic on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, making sure.
Yeah, that's.
I know I can hear you.
I've got a big red dot on my mic thing on my interface now. If my mic's off, it's like this big, and it says "Turn your mic on."
Okay.
Dumbass.
I'm going to take a quick break really quick. So I'll throw up. I'm going to throw that up because it's annoying and it keeps moving.
Yeah. Yeah, Tommy, let me grab a couple of prints real quick, and I'll give you an idea of the detail you can get out of this. Hang on here. I'll be right back to, like, really fast. Alrighty here. Alrighty. Just to give you an idea here. You can get some stupendous detail. I know it's kind of hard to see here, but there's even some writing on the scrolls that's on that board. And this is something I printed up as a test prototype the other night. That's only about 25 millimeters. Sorry, I'm actually, there we go. And if that doesn't turn you on, this should. This is printed in wood, wood PLA. And you can actually see how fine the detail is on that. So yeah, I'm all about detail. Hey Lucas, welcome to the artillery family. Take your time with it. It's a darn good printer. Hello Ben, thanks for stopping in. Hey guys, in case you haven't done so, if you're on Twitch, it'd be great if you follow the channel. We're trying to get bumped up to 50 followers for this weekend to open up additional perks. Awesome. Yeah, once I'm able to open up some additional perks and things like that, we're going to be doing some we're going to be doing some merch giveaways and things like that. Let me get this pulled up here. This screen isn't, or this screen here isn't completed, but just to give you an idea, I've got some merch and things like that that you guys can pick up. If you enter the merch command, it'll take you right to the merch store. Taz also has some merch that he's selling too. And in the future, we'll see about doing some giveaways for some artillery printers too. That's all going to be based on, you know, how popular you guys make it. Yeah, see, we got up to 40 followers this weekend, so we're trying to hit 50 before the weekend's out. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Tell your friends. There's some other things too. Some of you will notice if you go to the Twitch, if you go to the Twitch channel, you'll see that there is a leaderboard there, and you'll see a thing that's called Nexus coins. I'm already introducing those to people that frequent the channel. Those Nexus coins will also be able to be used for promo items and things like that, like, you know, some of the swag and some of the other giveaways. The channel right now is in its infancy. I'm not overly new to streaming or to OBS or anything like that, but this format that we're working with to me is new. Trying a lot of new things. So I hope it's looking good for you guys and you guys are enjoying it.
What I miss? Anything good?
Oh no, I just showed I showed him a couple of examples of the some of the detail work, some of the more recent stuff that I've done and whatever. One of these
Oh
days.
yeah, the stuff that makes me jealous that you can pull off. Okay, I get it.
That's what we're here for. Yeah, and Impact got a chance to see the new follower alert that popped up at the bottom there. I figured out a different way to do it so that they're a lot cleaner, and I can get more of my Three Stooges stuff in there. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, he had a couple more new people too. Ben Stanley showed up. He came in to visit with us. Tommy's new this weekend too.
Cool. It's always good to see new people.
And Lucas.
I will eventually get more videos done for my my channel, but I'm kind of focusing on your stuff right now.
Well, that's also too why there's even a command up there. If you wait for it up at the top of the screen, it'll show you up there. But you can also do a !Taz. Well, let's get on the right screen, Earl. There's some links right there to Taz's YouTube channel right there, and he also has a Twitch channel too.
Yep.
From time to time.
I should have recorded today's session, but I'm kind of glad I didn't.
From time to time, we may even be bouncing back and forth where he'll host a stream and vice versa, back and forth. That's another cool thing about Twitch. YouTube sucks. Hey YouTube, yeah, you heard me say that. Twitch has got all the cool stuff.
Stupid chair. Oh, sorry. I need to get a new chair. I got suckered into the $99 one, and the compression keeps going down every time I sit in it.
Like this?
Yeah, I feel like I have a sinking feeling, and I don't like it. You get another follower.
Hey Racer, thanks for following.
Hey Square Peg, what's up?
Yeah, there will be more. I got to move the alert box over. Sorry about that, folks. It was all last minute stuff tonight. There'll be all sorts of random alerts and things like that. And once we get the merch giveaways, some of the contests and things like that, there'll be a lot more of that random stuff. Plus, people will be able to unlock new ones.
Have a good night, Impact.
Yeah, hey, thanks for showing up, buddy. Appreciate it. What, do you get paid at the beginning of the week, Square? It's Sunday here still.
Right?
Where are you coming from, Square?
Paid on Wednesdays, huh?
Over in Utah.
That's different.
A couple of people I used to work with in Hawaii ended up moving to Utah. They're Samoan, so they kind of gravitated. There's a certain section of Utah there. I can't remember the name of the city right off the bat, but it's kind of like where a lot of the Polynesians all head to and hang out. It's kind of like a island island in the middle of the United States, if you could call it that.
Probably in for a rude awakening on temperature too.
Um, well, you know, a lot of the people that I know in Hawaii, I mentioned this before. Uh, when I went there, I wore shorts year round. I was sweating my ass off, and the funnier thing I noticed about Hawaii, as soon as it goes down to about 65 degrees, people actually break out the winter coats. And I've even seen some roaming around when it went down to like 60, you know, like after it rains or something like that. There are people that roam around. Remember those the winter snorkel coats that
Yeah.
the hoods zip up and they zip down to a snorkel that's about this big? There are people walking around in snorkel coats, and I'm still in shorts. I hardly wore a shirt unless I had to, unless I was going to work or something. And they're looking at me like I was crazy. It's like, yeah, aren't you cold? Aren't you freezing? I'm like, no, I'm from Michigan originally. This is suntan weather.
Right. Yeah. My parents moved to Arizona, and I was surprised.
Yeah, where are you other guys from? Kind of see who we're reaching here.
Because they get around 60 and they're doing the same thing. They're up in the winter coats. I'm like, it's beautiful. We actually they were like, we went to a restaurant. It was like 60 degrees and a little rainy, a little damp. And they're like, you guys don't want to sit on the patio, do you? I'm like, well, yeah, why not? It's nice out. They're like, no, it's not nice out. It's like, yeah, it is. I can go on. I can go on the patio. It's fine. This is like t-shirt weather. It's cool.
Southern California. Oh, hey, PC load.
So yeah,
I imagine
it's different.
California is kind of interesting right now. Well, I guess that depends on what part of Southern California, though, too. Are you in the cities? Are you out in the burbs or rural or what? Orange County. Oh, I call that you know okay maybe it's just my exposure to Hollywood and everything like that, but that's Chopper Town to me.
Why would that be Chopper Town to you?
Orange County,
Yeah,
Orange County Choppers.
that's not in California.
There you go. Exposure to California and Hollywood, dude.
It's not California though. It's New York,
Southern. Okay, he says he's in Southern California, Orange County.
right?
It's not.
But yeah, but it's a different Orange County. It's Orange County, New York, for the choppers.
Okay, wait. Okay, see, there you go. That's what I get for watching TV and staying out of California. My only exposure to California is when I was living in Hawaii and the company would fly me randomly out to LA to give talks to employees and also take part in training and things like that. I went to Dodger Stadium. Didn't want to. I'm not a sports guy. And went to we followed Route 66 down to the boardwalk. And I think I took more pictures of Bubba Gump shrimp than anything else on the boardwalk while we were there.
Cajun fried shrimp, chicken fried shrimp,
Popcorn shrimp,
butter
artillery,
over roll shrimp.
artillery 3D printed shrimp.
Yeah, but Orange County choppers is actually closer to where you're at.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they're in
I
New
just
York.
always associated. Oh, what was Jesse James, who is part of.
Who knows what he is now?
Well, yeah, well, what he was then, and then what's his name? The guy in the sun.
Guy
The
in the
old man in
sun.
the sun. They're memes everywhere.
Trying to picture who that is.
I feel really stupid for not being able to pull their names out of my ass, but
I, it's escaping me at the
Orange
moment.
County. No, that's the scan. That's the name. Okay, I recognize the name. Yeah, but what? Okay, what's the
Yeah,
show?
that's Orange County Choppers in New York.
They're not in California.
No,
Holy shit! Okay,
no.
you learn something new every day. Then
Did you ever wonder why they were like doing stuff for like the New York firefighters and things like that?
no, American Chopper. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's in Orange County, New York.
Well, if Pelosi had her way, they'd be in California.
Yes, if Pelosi had her way.
Shit.
I just because when I first heard Orange County, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard it, I naturally assumed it was California gonna be where they were filming at, and then when I saw the first episode of it, I'm like, oh, that's New York. Okay.
Yeah, well, my exposure to bikes and everything like that. I'm a Detroit boy, so anything New York or anything California just outright isn't worth paying
Yes,
attention to.
Jesse James was West Coast Choppers.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
That's what I want. I couldn't think of the name of the. I got a sticker somewhere.
Well, okay.
He actually handed it to me. Believe it or not, I met Jesse.
Now you got me wondering because, anyways, what I was driving at early on in this before I got side railed with a geography lesson, fuck off. Uh, the there's a company that I was looking at picking up a bike from called Big Bear Choppers. Maybe
There
that
you go.
PC. Maybe that's where my association with Orange County came from because I could almost bet that there's Orange County choppers.
Right? How do you cheat on Sandra
Yeah,
Bullock?
why would anybody cheat on Sandra?
I mean, come on.
She was so special. She was so special and so what do you want to call it? So innocent. Yeah, and so innocent. Keanu Reeves wouldn't even hit on her. I always wanted to get a tattoo from Kat until she got older and a little bit crazier.
Kat
I,
Von D.
yeah, I'm
I
a
see we watch a lot of the same stuff. I'm seeing this as a trend here.
it's got to be the water out there, man.
I think it's anything to do with being famous. You just do silly stuff.
It's the water.
Well, I mean, Keanu Reeves doesn't do weird stuff,
Yeah, but he doesn't hang out in California on a regular basis. He's out of town more than he's in town.
right? I'm just saying.
And how does this apply to 3D printing?
It doesn't, but we're having conversations and
Who gives
having
a
fun.
shit? That's what we're hanging from the branches. You never know if you cut loose and you land on another one. You never know where it's going to end up. That's the whole idea of these after-hour streams.
It's late night and we're BSing,
Yeah,
I'm kind of done with printers today after my adventure. So
yeah. Speaking of which, this week's upcoming stream, upcoming Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be on the 24th. The topic for that stream is going to be slicers. Kira, Simplify 3D, Prusa, and more. Be kind of talking about the ins and outs.
in Japan, the hand can be used like a knife.
Sam Elliott is on a whole nother level of just fucking awesome. That's all there is to it. You know, if there's ever any guy actors out there that could make guys wet, it's Sam. Sam does it for everybody, including myself. So
Uh, I don't know. Like I said, some people buy into their own hype and then they lose their minds. I don't know. I mean, if you want to start talking printing, I could show you all kinds of noises this thing makes. It's fun.
well, I did. I don't know. Like I said, my first thing was the VREF. Or how do you know there's not a clog in it?
Well, it's the axis is making all kinds of noise, not the extruder.
Oh,
It's not homing correctly.
isn't there an offset that you have to, or wasn't there, or shouldn't there have been an offset that you have to plug in for that?
Okay, but even then, why would that matter if I was using the stock setup 119 for the axes? I mean, I could see it messing up on where the head went. I'm talking about actually just homing X, Y, and Z.
And it's just making noises?
Yeah, it's like it sounds like a I'm trying to think of what example I could give you, but when you hit the
You did a M.
M500, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I did an M503 and an M500, and it sounds like it's an air ratchet, but it's not got anything on a bolt.
Yeah, because linear advance by default is disabled. The accelerations and things like that are scaled back. You know,
It's actually running stupid fast. I mean, I had to drop it down to like that 0.1 millimeter for it to even like move slow. If I hit like 10, it sounds like I'm launching a jet. So I don't know what it is.
like I said, as we figured out, it could be hardware related too,
But the thing is I changed it to my board
and it didn't do
that I
it.
had. Huh?
And it didn't do it, or that's when it
No,
started
it's still
doing it.
that's what it's doing. It's just making all kinds of crazy noise. I mean, I can't see me plugging in something wrong would make a difference.
I'll have to look at the setup for the Hemera. Yeah, because you followed that one guy's guide on E3D, right?
Well, yeah, because the only thing I had to change was obviously the thermistor and the temperatures, because you wanted to go over what it said. The next thing you had to change was what was it?
There were E steps and stuff like that. There was in there that had to be changed too.
Was there?
Yeah,
I must have had their different guide.
yeah. There's just more than a couple things that you needed to change, including which you already found out. You know, the VREF too.
Right, but the only thing is why would that affect the X and the Y and the Z? If I mean, what would that do to the steppers if I didn't change it? It should run normal and home like it had its own original head on it at the worst case scenario, right?
Let me take a peek. I'll be right back. Let me take a peek at his guide and see what had to be changed on that. I'll come back in just a second here.
All right. Because I mean, this thing sounds like it's an electric drill. Sometimes you think you're smarter than you are. It happens. But I even swapped out. I actually put one of my boards in that I had that was working fine, just to make sure. Because this one, I flashed this one with VSC and Platform IO, and it actually completely disabled the USB connection for whatever reason. So I've seen people reporting that. I'm going to say that was from Platform IO, and I wouldn't use it anymore for these kind of boards because it just totally got rid of the USB. And I restarted the computer. I tried a different USB plug. I put it on another computer to make sure it wasn't on my system. And it just totally, I don't know if it bricked the board or what. So, what's up, Cornfed? How you doing, bud? But yeah, so I've seen people reporting problems with their 1.1.9 installs, and I'm gonna say that it's Platform IO causing grief because I did it with Adreno on the other board and reflashed it, and I didn't have any issues with the communication on the USB. So it's not the firmware; it's how you're installing it. And I like Platform IO because I used it on my SKR and I used it on my MKS S Gen L board, and I haven't had an issue. But I put 1.19 on this board here, and it totally just knocked out the USB. It will connect to Windows, but if I pull up Face, if I pull up even Prusa Slicer, it does not detect the port. And then it actually, Windows 10 gives me an error that the USB isn't readable as soon as I turn on any program to access it. So, not sure what that was from, but I'd avoid the Platform IO altogether then. I'd use Adreno or try and flash it with a hex file. That's the only downfall of these boards is I wish they had the micro USB on it or a micro SD card on it, because then you could just flash it with that and not worry about the USB port. But they don't, so. Someone told me I can use Adreno with another program and get this back and reflash it, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to work on that because it's a bit over my pay grade. I just play a printer expert on streams. We all have those days where the things don't work. I just don't edit my stuff for people. I always tell them the line should now read define default access steps per unit. Yep, got that. I changed that. I believe I changed that, all of that. To look at it really quick. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't think so, but you know, I'll double check. There's config HAD. Where are you at? As Taz scrolls through the world trying to find it. Let's see. Did the heater max temp to 300 like you're supposed to? What am I looking for now? Hold on. I need to make this smaller so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Default access steps. Let's see. Okay, I don't think that's right. Default access steps per unit. 80.12, 80.12, 390. No, I didn't change that. I changed it to 409 though. Maybe that might be it. So I've been told I'm supposed to remind all you new folks that have arrived to like and subscribe to the channel for us, please. Appreciate it. Because we're trying to get the numbers up so we got better interfaces on our chat. And so you can get notifications when we come on. So we'd greatly appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and join the channel. He's going to keep messaging me. Oh, I'm just getting caught up in my own camera gear. Sorry. I'm not really sure with that, in all honesty. It's somebody else's guide on how the E3D guys set up the process. I didn't want to install this to begin with, I'll be honest. It was somebody brought me the printer that was having trouble, and I was trying to make it work for him. And I've been running through some of the guides trying to get it working right. But I've had limited success. Let me see. Go back to where I was at, trying to find the. Why is it 8121, which is weird. False stuff per unit 80. 121. Same thing on the other one. 399. That's a weird number. $399.778. 409. I'm gonna put my little notes in here that I changed it so I don't lose it. Save it so I can do it later. Yeah, I just don't see it. I mean, I don't understand why that would make it sound like a power drill or an air ratchet without being on a bolt, but I don't know, maybe he fried the steppers beforehand and I'm not aware of it. I didn't check the V-revs on the actual steppers themselves when I put them back together, so. This thing likes to lock up when. Sorry, I'm answering messages. I'm not trying to be rude. See, I'm not sure what the way the Humera is. I'm not sure of why they have certain numbers in it, but those with more experience in programming that stuff can tell me.
Well, that could be. There are reasons why they could have came up with those numbers, but testing that we've done before and everything like that, the numbers that, and I'm not the only one that came to those conclusions either. There's a lot of us who have done the firmware mods, have came to the conclusions that those are weird numbers. the defaults are. I mean, with them set on all the printers here, I mean, the printers were quiet to begin with, and again, there's got to be something else going on. I just wanted to make sure that you did make that change.
Well, I left them stock, so no, I didn't make that change. But I just, like I said, I don't understand why the steppers would be so loud and why the axis wouldn't move. It sounds like it's moving, and then it doesn't move. It just stays still.
Did he didn't change steppers or anything either, did he? He didn't like put some.
No, they look like they were stock.
Okay.
I mean, I'll have to double check them once I have to correct the case again, anyways, because I got to look at what's going on and maybe try and reflash it again and see if that fixes it.
Because if you have linear advance tuned wrong, it'll make some noise, and that's why even though linear advance is enabled in the 119 advanced firmware, it's not enabled. I mean, it's not. It's set to 0, so it's disabled until the end user goes through and does the linear advance calibrations and things. So
yeah, see, I didn't do any of that. Like I said, I just put it in straight up.
You don't have to. I haven't done it on any of the computers here or any of the printers here over and above initial testing to make sure that linear advance was working correctly and everything. After that, everything's all set to disabled here, and you see how nice the prints are.
Right, and that's why I was like miffed at why that started making noise. Like I said, like you said before, I don't know what else was done to it, but it just find it odd that it sounds like a dentist drill.
Yeah.
In fact, here, I'll see if I can get it working.
You're gonna sound like the beginning of Pound Cake or something from Van Halen.
It's on. Let's see if I can switch to the camera for you.
Man, I'm burning up in here. Wonder what the temp is.
It's getting hot in here.
My office
so
is
all your clothes. Anyway.
My office is 75 right now. That could have a little bit to do with why I'm like getting ready to.
And this camera does not want to cooperate today. And then I have to look at the feed to actually get where you're at.
Oh,
come on.
Speaking of which, on another, this is kind of a semi-off-topic thing. When I had when I had it enabled, I had coasting and wipe turned off, and that was in Simplify 3D too. So, no, that ain't right. That ain't the firmware doing it too. I can tell you that much. That's something else going on there.
Because like I said, it's really loud and really obnoxious, is it not?
I've had some really strange numbers, for testing purposes and things like that. Corn, they're on in the base profile because that base profile is intended on a stock machine. That's why, with the profiles and things like that, the tweaks and things like that are going to have to be based on what you've done to your printer after the fact. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what that could be, unless it's bad steppers.
You've got another board there. Now, is that your board that's in there right now?
Yeah, that's my board that's in there, but with his steppers.
Ooh.
Because I didn't want to mine looked older, so I took mine out because I figured they were newer steppers that were in this one, so I didn't want to I didn't want to gank his hardware.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, a board's a board. I mean, it's not going to make any difference.
No, I know. I tried to make it still his as much as possible.
Right. Well, like I said, you have the advantage of having a batch of more sitting there,
right,
try swapping them out. It can't hurt anything, I guess.
That's the next thing. I was just so frustrated when I blew out the USB on it. I was
Oh,
really,
case.
I was really upset. You know, I'm upset if I'm messaging you about problems because I don't normally do that.
Case point. And hey, I got nailed by the same exact thing once, and that's why. Okay, everybody, okay, yes, I put out Kira profiles, I put out Prusa profiles, I put out Simplified 3D profiles, and resin printing, I do the same thing in that area too. You don't hear me complaining and bitching and throwing fits and things like that when the software does stuff that I don't want it to do. And Taz encountered something that I should have asked about early on when we first started kind of looking at it earlier today, but my head was in other places. Kira will run in the background.
Yep.
And a lot of those people that are having communication errors and things like that when they're trying to flash the firmware, if you got Kira on your machine, take a double barrel shotgun to that thing and just until you're done goofing around with the firmware.
Well, see, because I know better, and I turned it off, and I normally do, and I think it came back up when I was doing something else, and I thought I shut it off, and it was still sitting there. So when I went to use Arduino, I'm like, why is this not connecting now? It's another board. Windows sees it. Windows not giving me an error. And I'm like, why is it giving me errors? And then I looked, and I looked down, and I'm like,
well,
is that Kira?
Load brought up an issue about PWM. Is that noise? Can you tell if that noise is coming from the steppers or?
It sounds like it's coming from the actual motors, and I don't know why. And then it's like I said, it's running and it's not stopping. It's actually it'll hit the end stops, and the end stops actually notify me by obviously the light that they're working. But it still starts spinning, and nothing's spinning. It sounds like something's spinning, but nothing's going.
Even though you say you check the VREFs and everything like that, try checking the VREFs on all the motors again.
Yep, probably have to go through it. That'll be next. It just this came up, so it was like, okay, I can't.
Yeah, I needed to get you away from it
before I throw it out the window, because I was getting mad, and I walked away twice. I mean, I got it to home a couple of times. It's homed okay because I did the old thing. Okay, sometimes it's not sure where it's at. You have to reset all the end stops. So I reset the plate back. I reset the carriage where it's supposed to be, and then I actually manually put down the Z, just so when I turned it on, it would have all its homes, and tried it, and it still does weird stuff. And like I said, when I push the button, it sounds like it wants to take off like a jet. So I don't know. It's one of those weird ones. When I figure it out, I'll have an answer for everybody else on how not to do shit.
The trials and tribulations of the Hemera.
This is why I know stuff, though. I have to say, I may get mad and aggravated, but this is the reason why I know how to tell people how to fix things, is because I make the same mistakes. I'm not going to pretend like some people do in the community and pretend that nothing happens bad for them and there's never a problem, or there's no mistakes being made. I make mistakes.
That's me most of the time, because realistically, I don't seem to have a lot of the troubles that we encounter, whether it's sheer luck or I'm anal retentive about a lot of things. I know you are too, but the only time I ever start making mistake is when the day starts dragging on to like 12 hours. Something just ain't going right, and I usually know better, and I slap myself. It's like, okay, well, you've been up for 24 or 32 hours. It's probably not a good idea to start messing with compiling a new firmware, or but I'll roll around in bed like I'm awake and having a nightmare. It's like, oh, Did I check the VREF? Did I check the VREFs on
Well,
those things?
I told everybody here when I think you were
Yeah.
gone, don't use that platform IO with these boards because I'm gonna blame that because I've never had that problem ever.
This was something else too that I mentioned to Taz earlier today. I keep a lot of notes on, issues and problems at the community, whether it be with printers, 3D printers, or, other things. I keep notes on issues that people encounter because I don't like not having an answer for something. And on more than one occasion, I've seen Platform IO create some really, really strange issues. Now, whether it be with same thing here, I actually had that happen myself here when I was goofing around with Marlin 2. I was noticing some strange um, situations cropping up on my computer with communication and reading and writing and things like that. And on one of the workstations that I had here, and it didn't dawn on me until another user brought it to my attention because he was having the same trouble. Um, Up until he started goofing around with Marlin 2 and Platform IO, he never had any communication errors whatsoever or compiling errors whatsoever on his system. And when he started goofing around with Marlin 2 and that, his computer was doing the same thing. Couldn't get it to connect. It wouldn't recognize ports. It wouldn't do anything. And it was just acting really strange. And on my end, how I had to fix it and resolve it, um, without fail usually on all of my systems, I completely trash Windows and completely reinstall fresh, usually about every 6 months. I hate letting it go up to a year, but somewhere in between there, I'll completely refresh the system with a new install of Windows, just because Windows over time destroys itself. That goes back to my days of working with and working for Microsoft and Best Buy and everything. So I got into that habit of refreshing Windows. Well, I went ahead and I reinstalled Windows and everything like that, left Platform IO out of the equation, and everything went back to normal. I had no problem flashing printers. I had no problem communicating, and I reinstalled Platform IO for the last round of 2.04 testing that I was doing and everything like that, and some of those issues started coming back again. So who knows? Yep, that's
I'm gonna
true.
s- I'm gonna say no on the too big of an image because I'm actually under the threshold of what it's supposed to be. So
But there are some people that if they don't know any better, when you compile the firmwares into hex, um, I'll use how Arduino compiles in the Marlin folder. It'll compile both a bootloader and a no bootloader version.
right.
Trying to load the bootloader version uh, into these printers isn't a good idea either.
Now, see, I'm going to be honest. The only thing I've used Platform IO with was putting it onto a micro SD card because I did the SKR that had a micro SD card to upload the hex on the MKS Gen L, both the 32-bit boards on this micro SD card. So I really never used uploading directly from the USB until today.
I've always hated personally load. I've always hated flashing through Arduino. I've always compiled the hexes and prefer using hex files, just because I'm used to them being portable.
Well, and like I said, my thing is unfortunately that the stock artillery boards don't have a micro SD card on them, so you can't do a hex easily with it like you would on a normal, like the newer printers. At least the newer boards, anyways. So that kind of irritated me because it was like I'd rather do it that way because if something goes wrong, you still have the USB to communicate with it. You know, you don't have to worry about it. But
Well, you still you're still able to use the hex on the printers as it is. I mean, that's how everybody's flashing, with the
right,
advanced.
but if you can't connect
Right.
to this
Yeah,
main board, then you can't do anything.
right. Right.
So now my next trick I'm gonna try is I'm gonna try using the Adreno Uno and connect to the ICC pins and see if I can get that to boot load and fix the problem with the USB. That's what I'm gonna try with this board eventually. When I wrap my head around programming it again.
Well, now that you were able to, by putting your board in his printer, you're going to give his a shot again since you figured out that it was Kira doing it before, or did you try that already?
No, I tried that already. It wasn't Cura doing that.
Okay,
It was
alrighty.
when I went to flash my board with the 119, and then I was using Adreno, and I wasn't about to pull up Platform IO and cause myself another problem again. So I was like, okay, the computer recognized the USB port, didn't give me an error. I pulled up Pronter Face, it connected, disabled that. I pulled up Prusa, and then it wouldn't. It showed me the channel, which it didn't do before, but I couldn't upload the hex file, and I couldn't figure out why. So then I went to Adreno. I'm like, well, okay, maybe I just use Adreno. And then that's when I noticed after I did like 3 or 4 times trying to flash it and give me an error, I'm like, I haven't had this problem ever with Adreno.
Yeah.
So then I looked, and inadvertently somehow Cura was open up on my start bar. I'm like, that's what's causing me grief.
Doesn't Kira
I
have a
shut that off and it
loaded?
worked no problem.
Doesn't Kira have a loaded startup checkbox in the preferences somewhere floating around?
If it does, I got it shut off, but I think I inadvertently did it because I was changing something for a printer.
The
In the
reason
middle
why
of all my frustrations, I was doing something really quick.
the reason why I say is it wouldn't put it past me for them to have that horseshit
Right.
in there. That's
Yeah,
something
no,
something to check and look for. And PC, let's see, custom keyboard we use Arduino boards. No initiative flashing them just too big.
right.
Yeah, well, with the printers, it'll just fail.
Right. You'll get a compiling error well before you even flash it half the time.
I'll be back. Nature call for me. Coffee's working.
I don't know. My coffee isn't working, so I switched to cream soda. Or no, it was actually root beer. My bad. Diet root beer. Anybody else got any issues that maybe I can solve other than this one? Yeah, I don't think it does. And like I said, I noticed from between the forums, Facebook, and our Discord with artillery, I've seen people have trouble. Yeah, right, Scan? I noticed a lot of people saying they're knocking out their USB, and I'm thinking, now I'm really thinking it's Platform IO via USB because I never used it that way with my other 2 builds. When I put the 32-bit boards in my other 2 artilleries, I just did the hex file and flashed it through the board with the micro SD card. So Platform IO worked fine. It was with this, I was like, well, I was in a hurry because obviously you don't have, on our main boards, we don't have anywhere you can put a micro SD card. It doesn't have the capability. And the one connected through the TFT is not going to work. So my only option was USB. And I didn't think nothing of it, and I hit upload, and next thing I know, it was 0 communications. Nothing would connect to that board. So this board is pretty much useless until I can figure out how to flash it another way and get whatever it did to the USB port fixed. I need a bigger glass scan for my dragon mug because it's really short. So then I got to keep filling it. But I do like my dragon mugs. I got 4 of them. I made a set because I had 4 glasses that fit in it. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of fun making stuff since this started because I've been pretty much printing the face masks, the shields, and the ear savers nonstop for people because every hospital in our area has been asking for them. It's like they've been hitting us up. Like my Chicago group has been getting hammered with requests for all this stuff. I mean, these are the face shields we're making. Just give you an example. I have to see his camera because I don't know if I'm in the right view. But yeah, so we're making these guys because they're a 3-hole punch and they're easy. And actually, these are assembled for like my wife's friends that are at her hospital because their hospital hasn't approved these yet. The hospitals that we have getting them are actually assembling them themselves. So they just want the actual frame. So we just send that. Yeah, good luck going to Micro Center. Last I heard, they have nothing on the shelves. And I'm waiting on an order for an actual print order that I got. I need white, and I ran out of white. And they brought me one from Micro Center, but it was the wrong filament size. It's the 2.85, not the 175. So now I'm at the mercy of Amazon waiting for a white roll of filament to show up.
Well, a little insider trick for people that are watching. With Amazon, I order from Amazon 2 or 3 times a week. I get regular shipments of a lot of different things coming in all the time. I haven't experienced a slowdown for a lot of different things. Um, yeah, that's the good old happy California thing that you got going on there. I feel sorry for you guys with regards to that.
Is that the Gestapo?
Anyways, with Amazon, if you want to get your stuff faster, you know, if say you're going to order some filament off of Amazon and it says it's not going to be here till like May, um, order it. Wait about 4 or 5 hours, or even the next day, and order something else. Doesn't matter what it is. Order something else that is still showing that it's going to fall in the 2 or 3 day prime shipping time, and order it. And I guarantee you,
I tried that trick.
I just did it. I just did it today again, and it bumped a order for filament that I had that was for May 5th. It
Yeah,
just bumped it up until Tuesday.
it
I'll get
must
it.
be where you're at because I got some stuff that was actually like necessity kind of thing
Hmm.
and threw them in the cart. And it's supposed to, and they all came today, but it still didn't bump my filament order up or my PEI sheet.
Did you do separate orders?
No, I added it to the order.
You can't do that. It's got to be a separate order. That's the trick.
Oh, okay. So then I screwed up.
Hey, Tracy, welcome back.
Welcome
Oh,
back, Trace.
Tracy, stay on for just a minute. I need to run to another computer and make you a mod. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's It's still fairly quick. It's just not like what you're used to anymore. Like, I mean, when I used to order filament, I could get it next day. I miss those. But with regards to filaments, I like on the silk ones, like the shiny silk ones. I'll go with TTYT 3D. That's one of my favorites. In fact, um, I did Rocket. I did his copper, and it's TTYT copper on his outfit, and it just turns out beautiful, and it always prints well. I mean, you can't beat it. That's not painted. That's actually their copper silk. So that's a good one. What's the other one? My brain's not on today. Ugh. 3D Solutech I like. I'm very fond of them. I'll get Hatchbox once in a while. Now for TPUs, I was using Yoyi. It comes out really clean and it actually has the right shell hardness that our extruders don't really chew it up. Which I would, some gets chewed up really easy. This stuff actually has the right hardness where it's still flexible, but when you're feeding it through on our extruder, it just works beautiful. So those are a few I use. When I get desperate, it's whatever I can get my hands on. Oh, they're gone, huh? That's good stuff, though. I mean, that TPU is nice. I actually did one of those COVID masks, and I did PETG with the Yoyi layer for where it goes against your face, so it will make the seal better, and it turned out beautiful. It really did. I was surprised. Hi, puppy. What's up? I think my puppy needs to go outside. Can you go out, baby? Hmm? I know you can come say hi. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Hi, Renee. I'll be back in a second. I don't mean to be rude. But if I don't let her out, she'll be unhappy. Which means I'll be unhappy. I'm coming.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. Alright, Corn, we'll see you later. Thanks for stopping in. Tracy, I made you a mod now, so you can post links in the chat. Oh, hey, Renee. Coming at us from YouTube. Yeah, we're kind of at the rear end of the stream right now. We've been going at it for a couple of hours already. Sorry about that. You're just showing up and we're going to be shutting down in a little bit. The daily doses are only really supposed to be like an hour or so, maybe two. Not like our regular weekly streams that can go into like 3-4 hours or so.
Oh, night, Cornfed.
Yeah, he had to go nighty-night too. I was just telling everybody we're just about at the tail end of the stream. Ready to go at it. We've been going at it for, oh wow, 3 hours almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't feel like it.
Yeah, it's 11,
Wow.
11,
Yeah,
12, 1. 2 hours.
it's fairly-
Almost 2.5 hours. Sorry.
yeah, 2.5 because it's midnight here, so I had to look. Yeah, we were late.
Yeah, I know. That was my bad. I didn't realize all the things I needed to do to get set up and everything like that were going to take any more than 5 minutes. It was like closer to 20 minutes.
Plus, I was asking him questions, which really screwed him up. So,
Well, I didn't want to put you out on a different branch for a minute there. We were
I don't know.
working back and forth with the Hemera thing for a little while there.
It's been all day today, and like I said, it's just normally when I take on a project, I can get it accomplished, and I'm just so frustrated that I didn't make it work. It's just like why. I mean, I've had those days with my other printers as well. You know, especially with coding. I'm not made much of a coder. I'm nowhere near that level of expertise, but I'm not horrible at it. If I have instructions, I can follow them. So I don't know what I missed with this one, and I'm thinking there's got to be something else that I didn't know about that he didn't tell me.
Oh, Bolos has been uploading a couple of images. He's not on right now, I don't think.
Has he? Because I was talking to him earlier today. Are you talking about earlier today?
Yeah, he posted it in the.
Yeah, I was chatting with him while you were gone. Because I get the notifications when we get stuff on that. So
Yeah, I've got them all shut off because of all the frickin' Discord
I
channels
don't
that I've
see a
got.
reason to change the Chimera. Honestly, I don't. A lot of guys were trying to get rid of the banding that they were getting,
That's not
or problems they were having with the extruder, and I think it's more user error than it is the machine itself. So I don't see a real reason to put it on other than personal preference.
the only reason I would play with the Hemera, in theory, it's a good extruder, but on these printers, so the larger format printers, you're wasting your time unless you throw the Volcano hot end on it.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's kind of what the whole idea behind these larger, 300 plus build plate printers are. You want to be able to print a bit faster.
But here's the thing, though: if you throw the Volcano on there, now you're losing your height.
You only lose what? I mean, with regularity, how many people really print 400?
I know, but you have it. I don't like losing anything. I want to gain. It's one of those weird. I don't know how to put it.
And okay, if you know what you're doing, okay, if you, and myself included, that was another reason I looked at all of the mounts that people have produced and everything like that. None of them have taken into it. Yeah, Scan. No, no, nobody's taken into account or the idea. It's like move the extruder up
Right?
so you gain it back. Nobody's done that.
No, it's all low and dropping it down. Well, I think because they're actually going after the Creality style hot end. It's like, why are you going backwards?
Hey,
The Volcano works great.
this is why I made the channel mature audiences and everything like that. Fuck reality.
Well, no, I'm just saying that I just used an example of their hot end. That's what they put on there, and it's like that's a waste of my time. I bought the artillery for the Volcano hot end.
Yeah.
Not only reason, granted, but that's one of them because I want to be able to have the high speed printing. And then people are talking about using the Hemera as high speed printers, and they put that hot end on it, and it's like,
I could even just. I could.
Why
even,
would you bother?
Yeah, I could justify maybe leaving the V6 on it with the Genius. Because the Genius is just like this little cute little baby. But even then, I'd still put a Volcano on it anyways, because like I said, the whole idea is you're pushing plastic faster. And
Right.
the big issue a lot of users have is, okay, they've got these nice hot ends, the volcano hot ends that can push stuff faster, but they're kind of losing something in between setting the printer up properly to adequately perform at those higher rates of speed. I've seen everybody blame everything from, oh, the design of the the gantry design and blah 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 blah, it can't do the high speed, blah 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 blah. A couple of the big mouths that we've had on the forums are just saying, well, the design of these printers isn't made for running high speed. Bullshit. I've had these
It's
things I've had these things running up at 110 and getting just as good a prints off of things at 110 as I can down at 50. I don't like running that fast because that's also the way I do things here. I don't run things for time. I'm running the printers sometimes, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, but I don't kick them all up and try to produce things faster than I feel that they should. I am comfortable and happy with everything running at 50 or 60 because at those speeds I have never had any issues whatsoever with any of the prints. I don't have to wake up in the morning and wonder if I'm going to have, like a shitload of spaghetti. And when you're running things twice as fast, that's also twice as fast things are going to screw up.
right. I'm good at that.
So,
120. I want to see it just extruding filament across the plate
well,
at 120 millimeters a second.
I made the mistake one time of entering an extrude command by hand in G code. Instead of extruding 100, I hit 10,000.
10,000. Wow.
And I hit it and I got me and my coffee and everything like that. I hit it and I figured, well, I'll go back and check it after. Turned around, went and got my coffee and everything like that, and my phone rang. So I picked up my phone, I answered the phone call and everything like that. It's like, well, shit, I got a printer working, blah 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 blah. I need to get back in there and see what's going on. And I come back, and there was and it was black filament too, so it looked just like this big black turd that was sitting on the. And fortunately, I had the extruder up. Dude, it was about that big. It was literally about that big. I don't have small hands either, so.
Oh, look, you're giving a love sign. Oh. He loved the big blob that he got off of it.
Did I do that? No, I didn't do that. It had the little pinch at the top, see? Little
I know.
pinch. Yeah.
I was just teasing you.
Well, the original profiles that I put up for Kira, anyways, I had them bumped up to 70 and 80, and people seem to have more trouble, especially the new people when they were first starting out, and
Right.
it didn't dawn on me either that I got to slow things down a little bit, and it wasn't so much for the experienced users, because experienced users that do know what they're doing, they can play with the speeds at will and make the changes to the settings and know what they're doing. The new people and everything like that, I had some guy, he goes, well, I tried running this at 200 and he goes, well, that's only double the speed, isn't it? And I go, well, no.
No.
These printers are, these printers are kind of designed, to operate. They have like what is it in the default? It's at 120 or something like that, I think. I think the upper end that is listed on the description is, up to 120.
That's the fastest I've ever went.
Well, you can run them faster than that, but man, you got to make sure you've got everything's tight and everything.
It better be dialed in.
Yeah.
And even then, if you get a weird model, I mean, like I said, I push fast speeds on something simple. I'm doing a quick box, something I really don't care about how it looks.
Or bigger nozzles. You can get away with that. Yeah, you can bump those defaults way up too if you're running with bigger nozzles because
Right.
um, but again, when we're talking about the other extruders and things like that with like a V6 hot end, no, a regular
I,
V6 hot end, it's just not going to. You're
and everybody
asking.
wants to go backwards to that too. I don't understand that one either. It's like you bought a very, very good printer. You just need to figure out how to use it. Why are you going backwards? We bought the expensive printer. Oh, not really expensive, but you know what I mean. You bought the high end printer with all the gadgets that are on it to print well. Why would you take that off and go backwards?
And everybody, and I even was really hesitant to roll out the firmware. I put the firmware together to stop people from complaining, both on the advanced side of things as well as the new people who are being coerced, and I use that word passionately, being coerced by the mod crowd on the groups that make these people think that they need to do all these modifications and things to the printer at the start. All I did was made it easier for these new people to give it a shot and decrease the likelihood that something is going to screw up. Then, they've got something that's working. They can experiment with the features like linear advance, saving to EPROM. The mesh bed leveling is a whole nother thing. That's actually to solve issues that are inherent to all printers, regardless of brand. Um, well, what else? PID tuning. PID tuning is just a super common thing that whether.
Well, I'm going to say you added stuff that should be done to the firmware.
Oh, hey, Juggalo, how's it going?
What's going on, bud?
Well, I could
You know what I
say,
mean? I think you added the stuff that really needed to be in there. Even a newer user should be learning how to do that and dialing their printer in to some degree. So I think that stuff is needed. Um, I understand why they take the EEPROM off a lot of times because you could really screw stuff up if you don't know what you're doing.
oh yeah, well,
So I get why they disable it. So obviously, if you can get to the point where you enable it, you got a better grasp of what's going on
PC,
most of the time.
PC, just like I said earlier today, I mentioned to a user that was inquiring about the firmware because he was asking, or somebody mentioned EPROM, and he basically said something along the line was, what is EPROM? And I told him right up, I go, if you don't know what it is,
Don't mess with
you
it.
shouldn't even be thinking about updating firmware or anything like that. And that's exactly the type of user that I cringe when everybody chimes in beneath these guys. Oh, well, add this, do this, add this, do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And all of the artillery printers that I've had here and have here and have had here, and all of the customer machines that have come through here, which that's a lot of them. I stopped counting back in November. It's over 100. Okay. Um, we I didn't do any firmware modifications or anything like that, including extruder calibration, and I still won't. I have not done extruder calibration on any of the printers here. It's not necessary. All the slicer profiles, and this goes back to someone that was corn-fed when he was bringing up the default profiles that I release. They're based off of a stock machine, and I'll just use Simplify 3D as one example. The flow rate it's already built in to account for the normal slight over extrusion that the artillery extruder already has. It's already built into it. That's why you get all these people that are saying, well, I chucked your profile in, I just got my printer a couple of days ago and my prints are coming out awesome. It's like, yeah, that's why you're exactly the person that I built this stuff for. The advanced users already should know what they're doing, and if they want to make the changes, they can. But all of our printers here, they had no firmware changes. And it sounds like we rip on mods a lot and everything like that. The printers that you're looking at right there, they've got a different bed material other than the stock. That's a whole nother story right there. They've got a fan mod, which is a 5015 fan and a custom modification or a remix to some other user released fan out there. And then the filament um, spool holders are not on the machines. That's it. They haven't had to have anything else done to them. All this other crazy, stuff that's out there is, if you want to play with it, nobody's going to shoot you down for wanting to do it. Do you have to, especially as a new user? Can the printers work fine without them? Absolutely. All of these.
Well, I'm gonna say I kept mine stock, both of them, for over a year before I ever played with modifications. I'm not against modifications. I don't like being stock by any stretch of the imagination. But whenever they post those things, what should I do? I always post them here, print these up. Print up the fun stuff. This is how you're going to learn how your printer works. Print up the cover. Print up a channel cover. Print up, the hot end cover. Print these things up first. Print up a roller for your spool holder. Print these things up and get used to how this thing operates before
Sure.
you even think of playing with a mod or making this adjustment that's going to be out of spec.
Scan
Not to
you.
mention, don't ruin your warranty from day one.
Yeah.
Prime
Scan.
example is this printer I'm working on now. This guy made one print on it, literally one print, and then went to this.
Hamera, he hit Hamera BL Touch, and what did you say he soldered the BL Touch to the board?
He soldered the heat cartridge
Okay.
to the PCB. So instead of having a quick connect, the JST connector that's on there, he cut that off and soldered the leads from the heat cartridge to the pins on the PCB. And it's like, what are you thinking doing that? That just defeats the whole purpose, because you can blow a heat cartridge real easy.
Yeah. Scan
It happens.
you bring up something too. I see so many uh, bed adhesion and or just overall print issues on the groups that can probably be attributed to shitty filament or shitty handling of filament. PC enhanced display firmware that will work with the stock firmware. Now, what do you mean by enhanced? Just a prettier GUI, or something that is perhaps using the newer release of the TFT firmware that's floating around out there?
You want your pretty icons on the stock printer.
The pretty icon set. You'd like a preheat button. Well, that means then and therefore it's no longer stock then. Well, I did a icon set for the stock firmware. All you got to do is throw the TFT firmware on the SD card and turn the printer off. Put the SD card on, flip it on, and it'll update
Yep.
the display. Those are on the Nexus already. As a matter of fact, I'll get you.
And I'm going to advise, don't take anybody else's, because half these guys don't know what they're doing. I've seen it. I've seen the tragedy unfold. They think throwing a couple files in is gonna fix it and change, and it looks cooler or whatever, and they don't adapt for the functions like Fen does and make it work with the stock.
There was somebody. Let me get that link for you real quick before I get sidetracked here.
Like I always do to you. I'm good at sidetracking. It's what I do.
Bum, 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 bum. Now, I was supposed to, a week ago, I've got a couple other versions of a new GUI that's going to be coming out that I'm going to be releasing exclusively on the channel here for the followers and subscribers. Now the only difference between this GUI firmware and the Marlin Advanced firmware, aside from it being stock, is the border around the buttons is a little bit different than the Advanced, and I did that and left it that way for a reason, because I wanted to be able to tell if a user installed the 1.9 Advanced or if they just installed over the stock firmware. That's kind of why I did that way. Almost here. I gotta.
Yeah, I'll give you the one that doesn't have the couple extra menus in it. He'll give you the one that's made for the stock, because he did one that's just stock.
See if I can get to it on the site without the site puking.
So that way you don't have to worry about having a button or something that does something crazy by accident or messes with the control board, because that can be problematic too. That's why I say don't take somebody else's off of, like, whatever forum you're on or whatever, because 9 times out of 10 these guys just throw an image in there thinking it's going to be okay, and if they don't adjust in the settings, there's going to be a problem. I've seen that happen too. And I've never had a problem recommending the 3D Nexus stuff for a fix, because I know it fixes it for them, which is always a good thing. I got the links all stashed on my computer just so I can give it to people.
Okay, PC, that link right there will give you the Nexus GUI mod over the factory default firmware. The only thing changes is the look of the buttons, nothing else. Before too much longer, I'll be updating that one to change the button borders to match the Advanced. I just left them slightly different so I could look at somebody's images that they sent me, and I could tell just at a glance which version of the firmware they're using. So it's been out and released long enough. I don't think I have to worry.
I like his
about
buttons too. I'm kind of sad that I upgraded my printers.
Well, if Tracy is still there, if you can kick the engineer in the pants for getting the 32-bit board versions of stuff out in the wild, I'll be more than happy to update those. Well,
because I got the basic looking ones now, just so I can do the things I want to do.
Well, I'm getting ready to get a couple more artilleries in here exclusively for beating up, for running you guys through some walkthrough videos on some of these more advanced modifications and things like that, so that people can learn how to do them right. In which case, one of those will be a TFT and mainboard upgrade, which at that stage, then I will release a firmware for it.
Hey, I got 2 videos out on how to do it right. Just saying.
Yeah, but I don't have them here, so I can't write a GUI for them.
I know. Okay. I'm just saying. I got 2 videos out that show you how to do it the proper way.
The way that I need to do things here, I have to make sure the stuff is working first here before I put my name on it. That's just how that works.
I'm just messing with you.
Well, I was just messing back too.
I mean, I did try. Even with my crummy camera gear, I did pull off a pretty decent presentation of it, I think.
Well,
I didn't go into huge detail because honestly, realistically, the 32-bit upgrade, the only thing that's a problematic switch is the LEDs. And you know, there's a workaround for that. I haven't got finished actually trying my other workaround I want to do, because I want to put it down to the 3. Because I that's why one's an SKR 1.3. I the other one is an MKS S Gen L because I was hoping that they had the same pins, but they don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was something else too. I almost bought into the 1.3 myself, and it wasn't like within a week of that when I was
1.4.
when I was finally considering doing that 1.4 came out, and I've heard,
And then the turbo.
well, somebody just told me that they're already getting ready to crank out a 1.5.
Yeah, they do that. It's annoying.
So again, you can kind of see where for somebody like me on my end for development, there's a point where I have to say, okay, really, guys, what is stable?
Right.
What is going to work for everybody? Because okay, right now, okay, if I would have bought a 1.3, everybody would be yelling at me, "Where's the one for the 1.4?" And
Right.
in another month or so or whatever, well, where's the one for the 1.5? And it's like,
Well, and the only thing is the 1.3 and the 1.4 are about basically the same.
right,
The turbo has extra set of pinouts
yeah, oh
for
yeah.
additional fans. That's about it. Now the 1.5, I don't know. I haven't seen that one yet. But
I just had somebody drop me that little bit of information. I haven't pursued it. I'm not
the
pursuing
only
it.
thing is to me the stuff that they added isn't worth going past 1.3 right now. I don't see the big gain. You don't need 80 fans. I want it quieter. I don't want it louder.
Yep.
I mean, the the three fans you really need on the printer itself is obviously cooling your steppers and your boards, cooling your hot end, and your cooling part fan. That's what you need. Other than that, everything else is just extra and not needed.
I'm more of the type at this stage, anyways. Artillery, in my view, has done a very good job with the printers as they are.
Right.
Um, they gave us enough to work with to get awesome prints. The future models that they're going to be coming out with and everything like that, I'm more excited about that stuff. I can't say as much as I'd like to, but I'm just excited about some of the future models that are going to be coming out down the road.
It keeps
Um,
me in the dark too, guys. So don't
yeah,
feel you're being left out. I don't know either.
I'm all signed in for non-disclosure and everything like that. So
No, I know. I'm
as
letting them know I don't know either. So
yep, I don't even tell my dog anything. So that's how that works out. But hey, folks, we've been at this for a pretty long time tonight. Um, last I looked, it's going on almost 3 hours now. Yeah, give or take. It'll be hitting 3 hours here pretty soon, and I think we're about ready to wrap it up for the evening, or morning for some people, depending on where you're at. Yeah, stop in anytime. We're the Daily Dose. My intent is I'd love to stream every day if I could, and I'm going to try, but there's no guarantees of that. But at least there's going to be the weekly Friday or Saturday streams, which will begin to be pre-announced earlier in the week. Um, just getting my act together for that. This coming week, Friday, 4/24, we're going to be talking about slicers, the different slicers, the pros, cons, nuances, and answering user questions about those. And then as the stream progresses, we'll cut that part of it off. There'll be a show off where you guys are free to upload your images for prints and things like that you've done. We'll put them on the stream, and they'll get solidified into a permanent video that'll be out there for people to check out and everything like that. For the help session and everything like that, we have a Discord server that's listed. I mean, these are the spammy links that are coming through in the chat from our bot from time to time. Join up on our Discord server, and if you've got stuff you want to upload there ahead of time, put it in the proper directory or the proper channel. There's a channel for the help files if you got questions about stuff. There's a channel for the show off stuff. Some people are uploading to the general channel, and I haven't even looked into to see if there's a way to actually move those or not. If not, I might end up downloading the images and moving them for people. As a matter of fact, I told from the stream the other night, I did it. I had it ready to go before the stream. I did upload the modded duct to the 3D Nexus. I will get that link for you. Let me put that on the stream real quick.
Get her done.
Yeah, right after the stream, I made damn sure that I did that because Bolos had asked for that like what 3 times?
Yeah,
maybe
he did
3 or 4 times, and I kept saying I'd do it, and it just ended up getting.
Well, you've had other things on your mind too, so I mean, there's a lot going on, so it isn't like you did it on purpose. I mean, we all have our family things going on and other issues. So.
The only thing I do on purpose is make some of the people cry on the groups. That's the only thing I do on purpose. You can tell when, yeah, I'm human too. I have my bad days.
Well, you're using the 5015 on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's using the 5015 on that duck PC.
Yeah,
so,
I erroneously, because it's been so long since I did it, I erroneously called it a 5020, and I shouldn't have did that. Almost there.
I think you should remix it so we can use a stock one. I'm just saying. It wouldn't matter for me anyways because I got my one I like. So. But I gotta give you a little BS about it just because it's funny.
I mean, it wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't be, well, okay. The reason I use the 50/50.
There you go, Jewel.
Yeah, there's the link for it. I look at
I'm gonna tell you flat out. I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue.
Stock fan's more than enough.
It is.
I've had to turn it back. Most of my projects, I've had to turn it down. So I think the stock fan's perfect.
Yeah, case point. Now, I went with a 50/15 because I happen to have a box of a dozen of them. Okay, and I had none of the 40/20s that I wanted to use. Okay, because I got this thing about putting new, using new and reusing old stuff. If something's too old, I chuck it out. Me and other people get into arguments about having old computers laying around and crap. I
save it for years, bro. I'm a hoarder. I got stuff in my garage from
Engineer Ed, or Gandalf the White, as somebody had called him the other night on the stream, keeps computers going back to the 1980s, and I just.
I got some.
Well, see,
early 2000s is about as far as I go back, but
I'm a gamer, okay? I'm a gamer, and also I do a lot of graphic arts and everything like that, so it's always kind of trying to remain as close to, cutting edge as possible. And it got to the point where other family members or friends of the family would end up getting my old computers. Okay, and if they didn't run them the way I wanted them run, if they didn't, maintain them the way I maintained them and everything like that, it was like sacrificing your children. So I just assume it's like, nope, just going to throw it out. You're not going to treat it with, you're not going to treat it with the love and the kind gesture that I did. So, yeah.
God, I'm a race to program Apple II computers. Jeez. Yeah. Well, they're probably worth money in nostalgia. Well, I mean, there's people that still want those parts.
Well, Gigolo. One thing about the 50/15, my modifications personally that I have made to the slicer profiles that I have out there, I rarely run the fans at any higher than excuse me, any higher than 50%, because the duct, as it is right there, as it's been modified and everything, does a really, really good job. And in rare situations where I want to do bridging that is on the diagonal all the way across the build plate, I've actually gotten near perfect bridging. So I wanted the ability to, if I felt it was necessary, force too much air over the parts for experimentation, research and development purposes and things like that. But I also wanted to be able to tone it way down. Now, with those fans running at 50%, the printers are silent. So,
right.
a real quick subject that came up, a use for old laptops. If anybody has, yeah, yeah. If anybody is or has priced webcams recently, the scalpers are like going crazy with webcams. The Logitechs, that I use, I get the higher end Logitechs. They want like $250 for those things. These are like 60
Yeah, I've seen
$70
that.
$60 $70 cameras, and it pissed me right off because for this stream setup, I wanted to buy a couple more so I could do some more things for you guys.
What, this one's a 920C, and my other one on my actual printer is a 910. I love those cameras.
Well, fact is, they're wanting $250 for them, and Ed Gandalf the White brought up Gandalf the White brought up something that actually makes a heck of a lot of difference and a lot of sense. The replacements, as well as if you have an old laptop that's not too old, the laptop cameras, the cameras that are actually in your lids of your laptops are sometimes better than the webcams that we've got out there, and most of them, not all of them, but most of them actually have about a 20-ish inch long, give or take, set of wires with an actual USB connection already on the end of it. They're almost practically ready to go.
Right.
And they're also like super ass tiny. So I went hunting around on AliExpress the other day just for shits and grins, and there were 5, 8, and 12 megapixel replacement laptop cams that were anywhere from like $3 to $16.
Right.
So that's food for thought for some of you. Well, yeah, super ass tiny and everything like that,
but you have a 3D printer, so you can make a nice big case for it.
Yeah,
you put your camera in it.
You could make it. You could make it as big as you want.
Right.
But for some of these other situations,
and add lenses and shit too.
Yeah, for some of these other situations like overhead shots, or even just showing off individual printers and things like that, for $30 or $40, you can have 6 or 8 or 10 frickin' cameras to bounce through if you really wanted to. And for you pie people, there you go.
The only reason why I bought like cheap cameras was because of the fact that you can't have like two Logitechs running on the same system effectively when you're doing like streaming and stuff. You have to have a different brand, or it gets confused and tries to take over both cameras and does weird things.
Yeah, I'm the two that you're looking at. These are two of the same Logitechs right here.
Are they?
But yeah, they're both 930s.
I've found errors when I was streaming with those because it would adjust the focus weird and wonky. And
yep, they're the.
Wait a minute. Okay, the camera you're using, and then you're talking about the lab cam.
Yeah, they're both
the lab cam's in another room, right?
Yes, they are both the same exact. They are both the same exact model number of Logitech. They're both 930s.
So you run an extra cord all the way in the other room to get that shot?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I didn't watch your setup,
Yeah, I
so
have to, dude. The lab is
because you know
from.
how I get my other cams when I do my shots, I pull it off my Raspberry Pi.
Oh well, see, I don't do almost computers.
Almost computers.
Yep.
I don't walk around with USB sticks everywhere either. So there you go.
Oh. Well, okay. Case point. I've got well the rig that the streaming's being done on is one of my graphics rigs. Okay, so it's already got um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 USBs on it. Okay, that's one of the. It's got the.
Yeah, my USB board just went out on mine.
It's got the. Yeah, it's got the dual 960s. The the dual 960 Nvidias in it and everything.
Well, I would have went like with something like that, but the prices went stupid high for the high end video cards. So I mean, I got a mid range card
I
because that's what I could afford.
I worked for companies at the time that I was getting free video cards and stuff all the time, so I
Yeah,
was
well,
also part of the insider
you can
program.
send me some stuff anytime you want. I'm more than willing
I
to
don't get
take it.
those deals now. I don't. I don't get those deals now, but I was also getting. I was a part of the insider program with Intel. I was getting their new processors. I was getting two of them every Christmas. Whatever their best processors were, I was getting
Because
two of them.
right now I'm running an i9. I want to say my Nvidia. What is it? What is my card? I don't remember off the top of my head. What is it? 1012 or something like that? Sounds right. I don't know. That it was top of the line probably about 6 months ago. Okay, it was top of the line a year ago. I'll be honest.
Well, I usually have the 1 year rule anyways. I tell anybody that's building a rig or anything like that, go with something that's about a year old. That way you're guaranteed it's stable.
Well, after I started getting my butt kicked in gaming because I did first person shooters because I guess I'm getting old now and guys are shooting me out of nowhere, so I kind of backed off. I mean, I used to be like in the leagues and all that stuff, and not anymore. Yeah, see, you can kind of take it back a little bit when you're doing that first person shooter stuff. I, I don't know how they're killing me. I'm like, you got to be hacking, but they're probably not. I'm just one of those guys that's, you know what? I'm going to claim you're a hacker because you're beating me. Because I used to be really good at it. Yeah, see, I was heavy into it, and then in fact, I was on. I was actually in a few tournaments, and not anymore. I don't think.
I forgot to turn my mic back on. Sorry, I was coughing for a second there. Um,
The big red dot didn't show you, huh?
I didn't look at it. That's why it's getting late too. No, the my I treat my gaming rigs like I basically build my gaming rigs to handle the high-end graphics that I work with, and vice versa. And I've never
Right.
been disappointed. Um, some of these people that are, I've got a 5 million polygon count poly count model, that's just burning my system up and making it crash and everything like that. It's like, man, some of the stuff I work with is like 70 million,
Right.
80 million
Yeah, that was one of the
polygons and
reasons
things.
why I went with the big processor and a lot of RAM because I
Yeah.
did the heavy graphics.
Well, hey
It
guys.
was part gaming, part doing the Photoshop and After Effects. After Effects just eats up
Hmm.
resources.
Yeah, guys, it's getting late anyways. I'm kind of starting to lose
Voice.
voice and sensitivity. So, hey, Appreciate all you guys showing up. Yeah, we started signing off about a half hour ago, and we ended up starting it up all over again.
Sorry.
We're gonna do it for real this time. Guys, we'll maybe see about hopping on again at some point in time tomorrow for a little while. If you haven't done so, anybody that's watching, please like, follow, subscribe. Appreciate it. Pay attention for the upcoming stream next Friday, 4/24 at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be on Slicers, Kira, Simplify 3D, Prusa, and any of the other ones out there, and we'll go from there. Appreciate you guys all showing up. Have a good one.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. See ya.
Yay.